Okay, looks like I'm live. Maybe. Let's see. Yes, okay. So, even though there's nobody watching, let's play some games. And what we're doing today is I'm going to fly the Dune, I think it's called a Thornicopter? Thopter? And it's really cool. Um, Definitely one of the best. I guess it's DLCs in the game. Obviously from the Dune verse. Uh, and I want to fly it over the sort of Chernobyl area up there in Ukraine, Belarus. I don't know. How do I say that? And where is that at? Somewhere. Okay, so Sochi. We've got Kiev. Then should be right up here. So Kiev. I think that's gonna be yeah. Okay. Right. So I'll just show you now. It's actually uh, the Chernobyl disaster, Chernobyl reactors, really not that far from the Ukrainian capital of Kiev. When this disaster took place, the winds that day were blowing in the direction of Belarus. There's Minsk, and I mean, it had to blow somewhere, I guess, and unfortunately, it blew in that direction. I mean, it would have been unfortunate for anyone in its path, but pretty remarkable that Kiev. I'm sure they experienced some negative side effects, but was largely spared from a major part of the fallout from that disaster, just because the winds happened to be blowing uh, that away. I think, at least away from uh, Kiev, to my understanding. So Kiev being the capital of the Ukraine. So a lot of people live down here. Obviously, you can see it's a big city, and it's also, I want to say, downriver from Chernobyl, so that probably wasn't great for them. But anyway, as the crow flies, Kiev is really, really close to Chernobyl, and I'm really not sure if this is man made. I mean, it kind of looks that way, huh? Maybe they found a body of water and reinforced it or something, but you'll see. We'll fly out here and take a look at the reactor site, which I don't think is rendered. We'll look at probably what I'm more interested in is the city of Pripyat, I think is what it's called. And of course, this whole area sort of is featured in Stalker, the series, the video game series RPG. There's a new one that just came out, and I was gonna play it, but there's a couple of I think issues with specifically the I think they call it A Life, but It's kind of an immersion AI system where the people within the world of Stalker, the NPCs, kind of have routines, and I'm kind of speaking out of turn here, but they gotta fix it. I think in the past Stalker games, a life was like the thing or one of the big dry selling points for a lot of players. Kind of made the world seem very real. So I think they just released the the first kind of version or update for Stalker 2. They have not fixed a life, but the game itself looks incredible. Let's just get started here. Sorry for wasting your time. I could I could start in Kiev and fly. I'm not gonna do that. I'll start. I'll start here. Uh, oh, yeah, it's dark. Okay. Flight conditions. Okay, so right now I'm in the United States, but we don't want darkness. Let's try that. No, it's still a little dark. What time is it there? 12? No, it should work. Right? Oh, whatever. We can even change it after the fact, so. Alright. Let's see. Okay, so we have the Ornithopter. Oh, okay. I guess that's what it's called. Anyway, really looking forward to playing Stalker, I guess, on this channel. So if you see this, subscribe so you can watch me do that. Looks like a really well made game. Obviously, well, not obviously, but if you didn't know, the people working on the game are in the Ukraine, so kind of tough to make a game when you're at war. But whatever. I digress. Okay, so here we are. And I really would love to visit not just this area, but the entirety of Eastern Europe seems really appealing to me. You know, I'm no expert, but I think that might be out there. Let's check it out. Is that the Duga? I've looked at this map a couple times, and I think it's not rendered, but that's. This thing is awesome, by the way. You can just do whatever you want. It's like having superpowers. Kind of breaks every rule of flying. Yeah, you can kind of see that there. It's not rendered, but it's like a big radar system. It's like a tall grid structure. If it was rendered, it would look pretty cool. I'd love to see that in real life. Cool thing about the Thopter, it has like all these really fun little features. So you got these big boosters, which just rocket you. uh, get going real fast, and you can shutter the wings. You can go up, up, up if you want, or you could, you know, do a nice dive here. Just a little. Okay. All right, so put those big wings out. You could turn them on if you want. I currently live in the desert, and it sucks. I miss trees so much. I miss water and trees. Yeah, well, it's not about me, though. It's about you, the viewer, and entertaining you. Okay, so... yeah, it's pretty simple. So this, I'm assuming, is like... so there's Pripyat right there. And then the reactor's gotta be over there. So, I'm a huge fan of liminal spaces, which I know is like, it's not a cliche, but I guess who isn't? I don't know what would cause someone to like liminal space. Another thing about this thing is you could just do incredible things, acrobatics. Of course, they could never build this with existing materials because it would shake itself apart in 1 second. But in the world of Dune, they have figured out how to design materials that can be used like this. Let's go back in here. I'll show you we can slow it down. It's kind of neat. Let's land here in the beautiful city of Pripyat. Oh boy. That didn't work. Okay, well. Let's try again. Maybe on top of a roof or something. I am a slut for Soviet architecture. Huge fan of Bald and Bankrupt. Seen everything that guy's ever put out. He is, if you haven't watched his videos, you gotta do it. Because he's so smart, so good at so good at interviewing and making something out of nothing. He does a lot of the Soviet stuff. I think that's how he started out. You know what? That's not true. I think he started out in what's going on? Why am I going up? Anyway, he started out... Can you tell I don't know what I'm doing? he started out doing a bunch of videos. I think in India. Oh no 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 no. And did some stuff in India, and then I think did like Soviet stuff. And then has kind of finished up. It seems largely he's finished doing the Soviet stuff, and now he does really really good uh, videos going in sort of all over the world. He did the Daring Gap videos, which were just like amazing. That guy risked everything to film some of these places. And again, does a really good job. Bald and Bankrupt, look him up if you haven't. I will land on one of these, by the way. It's going to happen, but I don't know when. Might take a second. I'm not good at this, but anyway, he goes to the Ukraine, he goes to all these former Soviet Union countries, and there's so much brutalist architecture out there. It's all really, really cool. The people seem really nice. Everybody seems genuinely kind. I'm sure not everybody, but there's a lot of it. A lot of that kindness, you know. Okay, Brian. Okay. How about that one over? That'd be a good one. Let's do that one. No, no. Yes. Yes. Okay. Haha. So, after the disaster, like immediately after, the city was completely abandoned and still is today. Before the Russian invasion of the Ukraine, you could go on tours. I think sort of. So there were people sneak in here all the time, but you could go on tours if you wanted and check out the city and but understandably, if you're one of these I guess urban explorers, there's a tremendous amount of area to check out, um, and yeah, why wouldn't you try and sneak in here? And every one of these buildings is essentially like an abandoned museum of what life was like in the late 80s. Forget exactly what year, maybe 89. But since then, the city has just sat empty for the most part. So you can check out, there's schools, there's apartments, grocery stores, and of course, it's all just rotting away. So, kind of cool. I mean, it's such a beautiful place. Crazy to think that man created this problem and essentially destroyed so much beautiful area. So, anyway, Oh boy. That's, okay. There we go. Okay, I'm still going up. Not sure why. Okay. So, let's actually do this. Let's go up. Way up. And you'll kind of see here, you've got the city of Pripyat, and then, you'll see the just main roads going right from the city to the plant. So yeah, the city was specifically built for the workers at the power plant. And when the shit hit the fan, it was all useless. This area, to my knowledge, is, I think, where there's a lot of waste. That was a byproduct. Okay, so I think that actually the reactor is like basically right in front of us, right over there. And you have a lot of these kind of open fields wherein the cleanup crews had to dump everything they used essentially to clean up the disaster, which they're still really not done with, had to be discarded of, and they can't, this whole area is an exclusion zone. You can't live here. I mean, there are people who live on the outsides of it, people who are, I think you would call them like remainers. They live essentially in shacks without power, but people who refuse to leave, or but anyway, this is essentially an abandoned area, and so you have this problem of like, okay, so you have all of this nuclear waste. So that's the reactor right there with all the houses on it, which are not, so if you look past the houses, you can see this like silver dome structure, and that's what they call the sarcophagus, I think. Pretty sure. And that they're building that essentially over reactor 4 to, I would assume, prevent more radiation from leaking. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's like a big dome, it's essentially like a big garbage can that they're building around the, I guess it's probably at the bottom of the reactor. There's a bunch of meltdown that's going to be radioactive for like a long time. So it's basically just a big trash can to try and keep all that radiation inside. But you'll see there's all these cranes. You can kind of see them. I mean, okay, they're not rendered, but as they cleaned up this mess, to get back to what I was talking about, they used bulldozers and trucks and things to try and, get rid of the early huge amounts of all this irradiated material. And a lot of that stuff was buried just in the ground all around here, which is why it's really, really dangerous to just kind of wander this area because there's so much rotting machinery that that they had to basically just bury. Interestingly, I mean, a lot of this machinery had, you know, electronics and wires and all this, you know, stuff you need to run a backhoe or a truck or whatever. And I don't think that some of that equipment just breaks down after it's exposed to a certain amount of radiation, so you really just have to start throwing it away and getting new backhoes and new trucks. And it's, you might think, well, why would you throw away a perfectly good truck? Well, and also, as you clean up a bunch of this stuff, I mean, the trucks just get covered in radiation and really unsafe. So, especially in the early days of the Chernobyl cleanup, I think, to my knowledge, I don't know where exactly they buried all this stuff, but presumably not very far from the reactor itself, because why would you take the time to transport it hundreds of miles away? So I think these forests, some of them, one of them, I don't know, it's hard to say what a forest is. I mean, it's an abstract kind of line to say, oh, that forest is called whatever. But I think one of these is called the Red Forest. Maybe this whole area is the Red Forest, but it's kind of a no-no area where you definitely don't want to hang out. Let's go back over here. I don't think anybody's even watching this shit, but whatever. If you have been watching, thank you for joining. And if you're watching after the fact, it's good to see you. Well, that's that. That's Pripyat. And this thing can move. And then reactor 4. I think they were still using some of the reactors after the meltdown. Which sounds crazy, but is this just like a big parking lot or something? Let's see. People just parked. What was this? It kind of looks that way. Anyway, so that has been our tour. Oh boy. I love this thing. So let's go. Watch how fast we can get up here. Let's just go for it. Get these. I think these actually slow us down. And now we're basically, let's get these. Basically just a rocket. And so, yeah, over in that direction is going to be Kiev. I think that's Belarus over there. Europe's that way, and then like Russia, all those FSU countries. The air is a little bit thin up here. Alright guys, well, thanks for watching. Be sure to, you know, do those things that YouTubers ask you to do. Great, well, that has been our Thopter tour of Chernobyl. Let's just dive. man. Okay. Until next time.